Starts first down and 10 at their own 10-yard line. And Tevin Coleman with some running room. Tevin Coleman down the sideline. Coleman, one man to beat. Tevin Coleman's going to go 90 yards, and Indiana takes the lead. Randall L. scrambles, thought about the pitch, keeps it himself down the sidelines. He could go. Antoine Randall L. touchdown. To the end zone, that's hauled in with one hand by McCulley. Touchdown, Indiana.
Welcome to episode 208 of the podcast that you have selected to listen to. You already know the name. I'll just tell you. It's Hoosier Happy Hour. And we are Hoosier Happy Hour. That was like real, like slurry. And I've had zero alcohol today. Speaking of slurry, Seth is back. We're also here with Brandon. He's going to sound a little different. He forgot his laptop. Requested that we record a day early and then forgot his recording equipment. So he's doing it, I don't know, like a caveman with an iPad or something. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm in pretty rough tech shape. But hopefully this should be a pretty quick pod. Not much to talk about. No headlines, no nothing. So, you know, no worries.
Yeah, nothing to talk about. And then there's Seth. He'll talk at some point. Again, we'll do typical news rundown. We're 25 days away as of day of recording. To when you're listening to it, we'll be 24 days away from kickoff. It is it's coming, and it's coming fast, and I'm excited, really excited for it. But real quick, we'll just do news around the program. There's a little bit of stuff going on. Nothing too serious. We'll talk game 10 against Michigan at home. We might let Seth talk a little NCAA football video game stuff if he wants to. If not, I mean, it's been out for a few weeks now at this point. I think everybody's heard what they need to hear, but maybe he wants to tell you about season 37 or whatever he's on. And then we'll do the normal stuff, the stuff you guys come for, the Randos and the Sack, and then we'll get you guys out of here. We're going to talk, I think, an unnecessary amount about Michigan, at least on probably on both sides of the ball. We'll talk a lot because they're pretty interesting on both sides of the ball and for two different reasons. So yeah, let's get into it. News around the program. Not a whole lot. I didn't listen to Coach Sig's presser today, if he even did one post-practice, but I did yesterday. He likes the way everybody's starting to practice now. He likes the mindset. He likes how everybody looks. He was asked a lot, two really stupid questions. And if you're tied into IU football Twitter at all, you already know what I'm talking about. It's Greg Doyle. It's what you're going to get. But then he was also asked about D'Angelo Pons. And a quote that stood out to me was, I don't think we've completed a route. We've thrown a ruat. And on that topic, I sent this in the group chat just before we started. D'Angelo Pons has been named preseason Big Ten Newcomer of the Year, preseason Big Ten Defensive Newcomer of the Year, and preseason Big Ten Defensive Transfer of the Year. Again, this means nothing, right? But some early accolades for somebody that could be an absolute stud as a true sophomore. So, and as Brandon referred to him last week, was my boy. So, and then
you always find a couple people to hone in on.
I do.
And Pons is one of your guys.
D'Angelo Pons, I love him. And then a little hint at who's going to be returning kicks and punts. I think today I watched a little thing. If you guys go to their Instagram or any of their social media for IU football, they had Bryant Haynes, the defensive coordinator, mic'd up, and he was at the end of it screamed kickoff, kickoff, kickoff. So I think today was the first day they practiced kickoffs because prior to today, he said the only thing they've practiced were punts, and named Miles Price, Solomon Van Horst, and Keshawn Williams as the three return guys.
The first and third are super interesting.
Those are interesting. The guy in the middle, we knew Solomon Van Horst was going to be there. As soon as he said Solomon Van Horst, I was like, yeah, of course. That's all he did at JMU. Yeah. Miles Price, don't love my starting slot receiver doing that.
But it's interesting.
It is interesting. I mean, I think he's going to be a playmaker. So I guess it's kind of the whole, if you got a playmaker, get the ball in his hands. And then Keshawn Williams, he did that a little bit, right? At
Yes,
Wake.
Yep.
So, but I thought Van
night
would
and
be a
day
shoe-in.
options that we had previous years.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was like just, I guess we'll put Jalen Lucas back there, tiny little Jalen Lucas, and hope he can do something. So, that's all I've got. You have some more?
I got a little bit more to add.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
EJ Williams can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
It seemed like a shot at him. I hope. I just talked last pod about how he's not calling out players. And I don't, there's not a sample size enough to see if this is a one-off, but he said close to verbatim. I'm not reading the presser notes, but the guy's had 3 practices since I've been here. Yikes.
Yeah. He really likes him too, but he just can't stay healthy, and it's
I
really
don't
sad.
think he's practiced this fall. There's only been like 6 practices, so it's not huge, but
yeah.
He didn't play at all in spring ball, and I don't think, and that means he probably got 3 summer workouts in. Not good. On the good front, though, he called out Jameer Johnson and said he has a chance to beat an elite corner.
Yep.
Jameer Johnson reminds him of similar high-end corners he's had in the past. So if you're pairing up Johnson and Pons, you're looking at 2 very strong islands out there. So that was positive. And then he also called out a coach. He said he loves what he sees from Pat Kuntz, the former grad assistant Notre Dame defensive lineman. So a defensive line has been a weakness for a decade at IU.
Yeah, probably since. Man, you know what? I'm not going to go too far into this tangent, but I got dragged into the 2012 roster today based on what some events that may have happened over the last couple days. And dude, I might have been since probably 2012, 13, 14, somewhere in there. I mean, there were some good players, some NFL talent on those lines. Bobby Richardson, RG3. Those are the 2 that come to mind right now.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I mean, it's just a coach.
Since then.
But again, I mean, the top line, Marcus Burris. I'm blanking on the James Carpenter. Is that the James?
I'm not sure Marcus Burris is going to be in the top line.
No, he's not. And then CJ West, but that is a very strong 3. Again, I'm worried about the depth, but all I hear is extremely positive things about Pat Kuntz. So
I wouldn't be surprised based on what I'm seeing size-wise in these clips of practice. If and we talked about this and where they played him in the video game, but if Mikel Kamara doesn't play inside a little bit, the guy's a monster. If you haven't seen him, he's number 6. He's number 6 on defense. If you guys go through and look at the practice highlights, he's huge. So maybe he's an option. I don't know.
Yeah. And then I got one more thing, and this is speculative. This means nothing. But there continues to be at least talk online and on message boards about Juju Lewis. Auburn was supposed to be a team in the running. They just flipped the quarterback from Notre Dame. We talked about how Georgia got their quarterback. The word out of Colorado is that place is burning down from the inside.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah, just let me finish real quick. 30 more seconds on Juju. That it's going to come down to a USC IU, and that NIL is not going to be a problem. That is from Matt Weaver from Peas.com. He said that he knows the NIL number. The number online is wrong. Don't believe the number you've read on Twitter or on the message boards. But NIL will not be a reason why IU does not get Juju Lewis. So that's positive on another school out of the running. That's positive that NIL will not be an inhibitor on his commitment. So amazing.
Yeah, I don't know if Seth read the story or not about Colorado, but it is bad. It is
really bad.
Really bad.
Did it
and
come
now,
out yesterday?
on
right?
Athlon Sports, yeah. I can't remember the guy's name, Steve something or Dave something. He and I heard this through a podcast I listen to every day, and it was an interview with an anonymous former player, and of course everybody right there is going to start rolling their eyes, be like, yeah, of course a former player is going to do it. But again, nobody in the program is going to tell you what this guy said. Why would they say anything in the program? You know what I mean? He left the program for a reason, because he saw fist fights, bloody fist fights, guns, money being thrown around, gambling, like weird enough, bullying. I mean, there's one of the other Sanders, the Sanders kid that's not as good as the other one.
Shiloh.
Slapped the best recruit in the history of the program. Yep. What was his name? Kid out of Miami that went back to Miami, I think.
It was a name that only Seth could pronounce in this pod.
No, I don't think it was that intense. I think it was I'm not going to go look for it, but it's just toxic.
Was it the running back or was it the cornerback?
The corner. The kid's out of Miami, I think, and it was like down to like Miami and Colorado, and he chose Colorado and decommitted pretty soon after that, or transferred out. I can't remember which one. 5-star recruit or very high-end 4-star recruit. Dude, it's just a bad place right now, and it's I guess literally everybody is treated unfairly outside of if you're not a Sanders or a Hunter. Everybody is treated completely different.
This is not a hot take. He's done after the season.
He'll
want to be done as soon as his kid's out of there. I think Colorado will want him out of there. Because I mean they're not Northwestern or Vanderbilt, but they're a good academic school. And this is very, very, very bad.
Guess who they started the season with? Shouldn't have scheduled them. North Dakota State.
Oh, they're losing that game.
Yeah. North Dakota State to start the season. Don't ever schedule North Dakota State. I don't know how they'll ever play any games. They should never schedule. Nobody should ever schedule outside of conference. Seth, do you have anything to add? You keep looking. What do you got?
No, I got nothing. I'm still trying to gather details. That's insane.
Yeah, it's big time. There's a lot more details. Again, look up like Athlon, Colorado, anonymous player or something. There's an interview. Again, the guy's name's Steve something or Dave. It's like very common first name. Did the interview, and it was pretty intense. So moving along, I think, are we done? News around the program and other programs, I guess. Seth, do you want to talk NCAA football at all? The game?
I'll just say a couple of things. The heat around Jacksonville State is real. I've now had like 3 dynasties, and they end up in the playoffs like every single time as either a group of 5 representative, or even a top 12 just qualifier on their own.
Is that Rich Rod at Jacksonville State?
I believe so. And then you had said year 37. No, unfortunately, this thing caps at 30 years on a dynasty, and then it just shuts off instead of 60 like I'm used to. So some of my records aren't quite aren't ever going to be touched apparently, but we'll see how that works out.
You're insane, dude. All right, cool. That's it on that part of it. Let's get into the schedule preview. It's game 10 against Michigan. This is going to be an interesting preview, and whatever we tell you about really on one side of the football right now is going to be completely irrelevant come I'm assuming, I can't remember when this game's going to happen. I think it's in November. Come November when this game happens, because there's so many question marks on the offensive side of the ball. So let's get into it. Do we have to do the season history or series history, Brandon?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Previous meeting, IU lost 7-52. It was 7-7 at one point. Donovan McCulley threw the touchdown pass to Jalen Lucas on a wide receiver reverse pass. So other than that, it seemed like we were kind of keeping them at arm's reach for a little bit. And then I think somewhere around midway through the second quarter or end of the second quarter, it kind of blew open. Largest margin of victory in the series, Michigan 63-0 in 1925, IU 20-0 in 1944. Fun fact, I guess, only 2 of the previous 10, I guess, of the 10 wins against Michigan have come in Bloomington. One of them in 2020. So I don't think that necessarily stat bodes well for this game at home. But I don't know. I think some of the stuff we're going to talk about on offense might. Brandon, I kind of stole your thunder here. Preseason over/under wins 9.5. Do you want to do this? I'll let you do this part. I saw it. I saw the over/under on where they're going. I haven't looked at their schedule, but that's probably the biggest gap as far as betting odds go that we've seen so far. What is it?
Yeah, so it's over. So 10 wins get you plus 130. 9 wins get you under 170. So they definitely think this is an 8 to 9 win team. 170 is pretty significant. We've seen minus 115, minus 130, even a few minus 140s. We have not seen minus 170.
Not that big of a gap, no.
What I found interesting is conference wins. They had the over favored in 6.5. So they think they will go. They will lose a non-conference game, and that they'll lose a couple conference games. They have a tough schedule.
Really?
Not
Harbaugh got out of there right in time.
We'll get into it, but I like the under in both conference wins and in season wins.
All right. Part of that equation might come down to their head coach.
Can I give a few more fun things?
Yeah, do it.
So Donovan Edwards plus 9,000 to win the Heisman.
A lot of people aren't sold on him. That's
mostly, and I think you did a great job of why you shouldn't buy into him. But he's obviously the cover athlete of NCAA 25. Despite DraftKings, which I've seen this several times. They have like plus 130 to make the playoff. How can you only win? You're not winning 8 games and making the playoff as a group of or a Power 4 team. Like there's no way. So I saw that was interesting. And then they have them as the 4th best odds to win the Big Ten. Now it's a pretty big drop off. It's Ohio State 1, Oregon 2, Penn State 3, and then Michigan 4 at plus 600 to win the Big Ten. So I thought it was way too good of odds to win the Big Ten. Definitely too good of odds to make the playoff. We'll go into it. But man,
I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they score points, but we'll again, we may sound really stupid come November.
I feel like I've been higher on teams than you and Seth this year, other than Michigan State, who is just absolute dog.
Yeah, dog.
But man, I didn't love what I saw doing research for this.
This may be like Iowa 2023 2.0. Like it's on that kind of level because their defense is incredible. Their offense, a lot of question marks. We'll talk about it. Let's do it right now. Head coach Sharon Moore, another first-year head coach on the schedule. And this is his first time head coaching as well. Former Michigan offensive coordinator as of last year, and one of Seth's, I believe, his top 5, maybe even top 3 prospects for IU coach this season when we did our little shindig in the winter. 1-0 coaching at Michigan, and I did not know this, how dumb they were about spreading out the 3 obvious non-conference wins last year while Harbaugh was suspended. They split them amongst 4 people, I guess. One of the games was co-coached by, is it Harbaugh's son? That's on the coaching staff, or maybe I think
it's his nephew. Is it
maybe his nephew?
Jay?
It's Jay Harbaugh. Yeah. Jay Harbaugh is credited with a win. Their defensive coordinator credited with a win. Sharon credited with a win, and somebody else coached with Harbaugh on one of them. Sharon's win came against Connor Bazelak in Bowling Green. So congratulations to him on the victory. And did you guys, either one of you two, do a little digging on what he may have coming his way here this season? Mr. Moore, nobody? he's got some level 2 accusations that are stemming from what's his name, Connor Stallions. The Connor
Netflix
Stallions
documentary
from last
coming out
year
about Connor Stallions.
Yeah, and that's not going to help his case probably. So don't be surprised if you don't see some sort of suspension for Coach Moore as well for maybe a game or two. All right, let's get into it. No more coach talk. Well, maybe a little bit of coach talk here to talk here in a minute, but let's get into key players and talk offense, defense. On the offense, Seth wants to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jay is Jim's son. I had it wrong.
Okay.
Yep.
Now
no
on the
more
offense
coach talk.
There is a ton to replace. Buckle up. They got a new offensive coordinator. They got to pick a new quarterback. They have a new starting running back, although Donovan Edwards is somebody I would consider to be a starting running back. They lost their 2 top wide receivers, and this is not over-exaggerating. They lost their entire offensive line.
The odd thing about wide receiver, they have 1 upperclassman. When I was talking both Maryland and Northwestern, team just littered with upperclassmen.
Look at our team.
IU team littered with upperclassmen. How do you not get a couple more juniors and seniors through the transfer portal? And they crushed the transfer portal, especially on defense and some on the offensive line. It just seems like wide receiver was completely ignored. I mean, they had Tyler Morris, who had a huge game against Bama and was essentially the number 3 there last year. So he'll be the number 1 there this year, but he's a slot guy. They legit don't have an outside receiver that's done anything. Of course, their number their outside receiver will probably be 5 or 4
loaded
studs,
with high-end 4 stars.
There's
and
no
5
experience.
Stars. Yeah. I don't think it's going to matter. I don't think, well, depends on who they pick at quarterback, and we'll get there in a second. But they got a new offensive coordinator, as I mentioned. It's Kirk Campbell. He's been with Michigan since 2022. He was an offensive assistant in 2022 and a quarterback's coach last year. They're going to keep the same style offense. I mean, when you promote your offensive coordinator to head coach, I'm assuming not a whole lot's going to change. You keep the same guy from the quarterback's coach. He stays as the quarterback's coach, and he's just going to move into to Moore's position, which it's going to be like the same thing we experienced with Tom Allen, I would assume. So it's the same defensive philosophy, but just another guy calling the plays. So this is the interesting part. At quarterback, we know that they just lost a very overdrafted but very talented J.J. McCarthy to the NFL. And the saying is, Brandon, when you have 2 quarterbacks, you have
none.
0. What is the saying when you have 6 quarterbacks? I don't know, dude.
You're fucked.
Yes. So the what are you playing with there? Is that a measuring tape?
Sorry.
It's louder than you are, which is amazing. So let's get into some of the key ones, I guess. A guy named Alex Orji. It's Orji, isn't it?
It's Orji.
Orji?
It's Orji. It's Alex, a good old-fashioned Orji.
There you go. He's 6'3". He's a big guy, about 240. He's, I guess, the top candidate going into it, I think, based off of talent, raw ability. Not a great passer. I don't even think he's thrown a pass as a college quarterback. He's run the ball in some of his appearances. I didn't look up his passing, so he may have. So don't sit here and kill me on Twitter. But I think he's run for like over 100 yards on like 12 carries or something in the few games that he did get in. This guy was supposed to be a major prospect, right, Seth? Like a lot of people were hyping him up last year. He wasn't a big-time recruit. He was a 3-star recruit coming out of high school. But, man, he was getting a ton of hype last year. Come to camp, now they don't know. Thankfully, they have a 29-year-old Jack Tuttle still playing football. And we know enough about Jack. We love Jack, I guess, kind of. Really strong, solid option that you could have. What would you call this? The safer option, the Joe Flacco, I guess, of Joe Flacco with wheels, maybe? of Michigan football? Seth, what were
I
you
don't
say?
think you want Jack getting out and running. I mean,
no. God, you want to talk about injury prone? Seth, what do you got?
He's your Mac insurance policy.
There you go. And then they've got these quarterbacks. These everybody's in contention, by the way. Like, they have not named, and they are still running all of these people through. Davis Warren, a 2020 walk-on. Jaden Denagle, a 3-star from 2022. Kendrick Bell, a 3-star from 2023. And I think somebody that's going to have a decent amount of talent, but I would be shocked if he starts this season, is Jaden Davis, a 4-star quarterback, a top 10 quarterback in this year's class. They are all in the mix. And this is as of like this week. So they are still running through some stuff. Seth, what do you got?
They do this stuff all the time. They always do like we're positionless. Everyone's on the depth chart. What are you talking about? It's the same Michigan stuff all the time. But
they don't have a good quarter. They don't have JJ McCarthy and who's the kid that was at Iowa or still at Iowa, maybe?
McNamara.
Now those two, when you're like, oh, I don't know, maybe McNamara, maybe McCarthy. It's like, which 5-star do you want to pick from? Right now, you're kind of not in that position. But doesn't really matter because they've got a really solid running back in Donovan Edwards. As Brandon mentioned earlier, he's a cover athlete on the new college football game. Not the cover athlete, but a cover athlete with Quinn Ewers and I don't know. Sanders, right? Or Hunter.
Ewers is awful.
It's because they want they want you to put Manning in. That's why. So as I said, they're replacing a starting quarterback, but not really, or a starting running back, but not really. Donovan Edwards is an absolute stud. He's a senior, 6'1", 212 pounds. He's carried 119 carries last year, just under 500 yards. Not a great 4.2 yards per carry, and very injury prone. Do you guys want to talk a little bit more about him?
I mean, he can do everything. So a last note on the quarterbacks is an interview from either today or yesterday. It was the offensive coordinator said, right now we're taking snaps based on seniority. It's too early in camp. Everyone's getting equal reps. So Tuttle is going with the ones, but the OC was very clear, like, this means nothing. We're just going by seniority right now. And it does seem like this is going to be a little bit running back by committee. Again, it could be just Michigan playing games. We know they do that a lot, sometimes illegally. But you know, they want Donovan Edwards to be a in space outside the tackles running back. That means somebody has to be their Blake Corum. I don't think they're going to use Donovan Edwards as a inside run guy. So I would expect his stats from last year to be similar this year, maybe a little bit more usage, but he will not be the bell cow number one running back only in that backfield. So I don't know who emerges, but somebody or by committee will, at least based on the interview today.
They have to. Probably based on his injury record. I don't think that they can really stick with him. Seth, what do you got? You got some news there running back wise?
Yeah, it's the same thing I say every time Donovan Edwards comes up. In the future, if he stays healthy, he could be a PPR dream if you're an NFL fantasy football player.
He's a very good football player.
He's a great receiver out of the backfield.
And if you get him in anywhere in space, he's going to make some major plays. Did you talk about his 20? I zoned out for a second, but in 22, when he was a little bit more healthy, he had 140 carries, 900 yards rushing. I mean, you do the math there. That's not 4.2. So, he was killing it there and 7 touchdowns as well. I put no wide receivers here because of what you talked about. I mean, they don't have any major standout wide receivers in the wide receiver room. They do have an absolute monster at tight end, and it's not AJ Barner. He's gone. It is Colston Loveland. He's 6'5", 245 pounds. That's not going to blow you away, right? For the junior, 45 catches last year, 650 yards, 4 touchdowns. First team All Big Ten last year. I never heard of him, but I went back and watched some of the tape, and then I did hear, in the college football playoff and everything else. I mean, the Sundays, he's playing Sundays and high-end Sundays. What do you got, Seth? You love Cortland?
Oh yeah, he's the best
Olsen?
player. He's the best player on their offense, even better than Edwards, and he's the most complete player as well on their roster.
Yeah, he's gonna.
Offensive roster.
Offensive roster. We talked about this with a couple other tight ends throughout these season previews, right? Typically, Tom Allen defense, you would say this guy's gonna absolutely kill us. he's going to kill a Tom Allen defense. So if they play Penn State, whatever overs you can take on Colston Loveland, take him, because he's gonna tear apart Penn State. But other than that, we'll see what he does against IU, I guess. But he's very, very good. Their offensive line, Brandon, you mentioned a few transfers that came in. I know there was a kid from Northwestern, a kid from Stanford, but again, all brand new. Everybody across the line. Nobody was a starter last year.
Yeah, they graduated their top 6.
Yeah,
and I think 3 are in the NFL.
I probably all 6 are in camp somewhere. I'm sure. So that's interesting.
14 guys drafted.
Yeah, they have massive question marks on offense, and they've got a lot of work to do. It's going to be real bad. The game is going to be an interesting game to watch, and I think the only thing that really keeps them in a lot of
line's
games,
already out all the way. By the way,
is it really?
It's not good for Michigan fans.
I was going to say 17.5.
It's only 10, but
okay.
that's crazy for a preseason line.
And that's in Columbus.
It is.
Okay, it's going to go up, I think. Well, You know what? It may not. I think based off what we're getting ready to talk about, because man, their defense is elite, and it was elite last year, and it's even more elite this year. New defensive coordinator, but you guys have probably heard of the guy. His name's Don Martindale. He spent 10 years in the NFL with the Raiders, Broncos, Ravens, and Giants. Those, whenever you think defense, I think NFL wise, I mean, you would probably throw the Steelers in there. And a few other people that you would, or a few other teams that you would think off the top of your head as far as great defense, but those are 4 very good kind of defenses over the last 10 years. Tons of blitzing, tons of pressure. The guy's got a ton of experience. He's going to bring in a very fast defense, and he's going to have some very, very top end NFL style talent. His defensive line, Brandon, is insane. I've never spent so much time on an outline talking about their starting 4 on the defensive line than I did on this one. I've got both defensive tackles, and I have both defensive ends as key players on their defense. And that's just to begin. And I'm talking Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant. Mason Graham was huge in the game against Alabama. Rose Bowl MVP, made a huge play at the very end of the game. Massive tackle for a loss. He was second team All-American. He's huge. And this is gonna be a trend. You're ready for a bunch of 6'3s. 6'3", 320 on the interior as a junior. He's going to the NFL next year. First team All Big Ten last year as well. And then you've got Kenneth Grant, again, 6'3", 340, junior out of the region, Maryville, Indiana. 2023 second team All Big Ten. He had a great game against Washington in the national championship. Seth, Brandon, anything on the D tackles while we're here?
No, I mean they're both day 1 or day 2 draft picks.
Yeah, very good. And then some more day 1, day 2 draft picks. They're defensive ends. Derek Moore, Josiah Stewart, Moore, 6'3", 260-pound junior. 2023 honorable mention. Only 34 tackles at the defensive end position last year, but 5 sacks, 6 TFLs, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery. Stewart on the other side, little undersized based on their defensive line at 6'1", 245. Another honorable mention last year. Again, only 38 tackles, but 5.5 sacks, 8.5 tackles for loss. They're going to get pressure, and they're going to get a ton more pressure, I think, now with Martindale in there. And that's just what he does. Anything on the ends, guys, while we're here? No. Seth says no. Brandon's probably going to say no. I kept one of the linebackers off. There is a linebacker from Nebraska, the transfer. Not a huge fan of him. as far as what his stats look like and what he's from Nebraska 2 years ago. Sorry. What his stats looked like last year, what he's kind of impact wise. Seth, do you have somebody that you had in mind that maybe I left off here? Because I want to talk about Deshaun Barham.
No, that's the guy to talk about.
Okay. So Deshaun Barham, which I think you could probably go back to last year's Maryland preview. And man, we were all over Deshaun Barham. I mean, this kid is again, guess how high he is. Not how high he is. Guess his height. 6'3", 250-pound junior. I just wrote badass. The dude's very good. 37 tackles, 3 sacks, 1 interception last year for Maryland. But in 22, he had 59 tackles, 4 sacks, fumble recovery, forced fumble as well. Second team freshman All-American at Maryland, who is not a good defense. But that dude is an absolute stud, and he's going to shine. Brandon, you love Maryland. I think you love you some Deshaun Barnum. I don't know why I can't talk, Brandon. I'm just so excited.
You're hammered. I mean, you're
not hammered. I wish I was hammered. I've been nothing but running around all day. You got anything on him you want to add?
NFL.
Yeah, NFL for sure. And they're going to lose a ton of talent on defense this year to the NFL. They lost a ton of talent last year. The year before that. It doesn't matter. They just keep replacing it on defense. And then if there is a weak section of their defense, it might be their secondary, but they've got an absolute stud at corner. And the fact he didn't go to the NFL is amazing to me. Will Johnson, a 6'2", 200-pound junior, first team All-American last year, first team All-Big Ten, defensive MVP in the national championship, had 27 tackles last year, tackle for loss, 4 interceptions, and a touchdown. They did lose their safety, I believe. Their starting safety, Rod Moore, in the spring to an injury that's going to keep him out for a long time. Chances are he'll be back in time for this game, probably. But that kind of hurts them. They've got some other question marks on the other side of the corner spot and then at the other safety position too. One interesting note that I made was they have former Colts tight end Marcus Pollard's son that plays linebacker, Micah Pollard. I saw his name and I was like, I've heard of Micah Pollard. Went in there, nothing really stood out. Started reading about him a little bit. Thought maybe he was, related to somebody, and then there you go. So, any Colts fans that are listening might know number 81. So.
Yeah, so I just got one more guy that I like, and that's Makari Page. That is the other safety. He's a senior. He's been there for the past 3 years. Obviously, the team's had a lot of success. And you are right. The secondary is grading out as the worst unit, but PFF just came out with their preview of Michigan on July 31st. Every position unit is in the top 10 of position units.
They're very, very good.
And we talked about what we like about PFF, what we don't like about PFF. We've had guys transfer in that are PFF studs that don't really make an impact. So PFF, you can have your opinions on it, but based on PFF, every single position group is a top 10 position group on the defense. That's never happened in the history of PFF, by the way. So that's just how good this defense could potentially be.
Yeah, I think that they're pretty close to Iowa 22 and 23 type levels, but like not boring. So
2 fun stats before we move on from Michigan preview. They fumbled the ball 9 times last year, or fumbled the ball 12 times, recovered it themselves 9. So a lot of luck there on ball luck. But they also threw 9 pick 6. So that's odd. J.J. McCarthy only had like 2 or 3 picks, so that had to be in garbage mop-up.
A lot of garbage time. And it might have been Orgy.
It could have been Orgy. It could have been Tuttle. I should have looked this up. But again,
Tuttle loves to throw a good pick 6.
And I was don't even get me started on the Michigan State game. Freaking Cal Halliday. But yeah, so I found that odd. They got some fumble luck and then also had an insanely high amount of pick 6s. which is odd. So
They're just really good. All right, schedule time, Brandon. We're flying through this. I thought we'd be on this for a long time. 40 minutes, not even 40 minutes in. Brandon, what do you got schedule time?
Schedule time. So
9.5.
Being remember that 9.5 wins total, 6.5 wins on the conference.
Yep.
And because they're the 8th ranked team, I don't feel like we said that. They are preseason number 8, so they are a preseason top 10 team. A lot of their lines were already out, so you already got an idea. They host Fresno State, who Purdue has had trouble with in the past. They host Fresno State -21.
That's
easy
a
win.
I think we cover that.
Here's the big one that I think their whole season hinges on, and it sucks they play week 2. They're going to play a Texas team that has national championship aspirations with a whole lot less question marks. Quinn Ewers and company are going to score points.
Where's this at?
Ann Arbor, Michigan.
They're
The
good.
line is
Texas
out.
is
Texas
good.
-4. So neutral, this would be Texas -7 in a neutral field.
I almost would have thought this would have been like an opening week, like AT&T Stadium. Like that's where this should have been. I don't know,
Field.
man.
Oh,
I'm going loss. It may be
Loss.
later in the season.
I think it's a loss right now. Yeah, you're right.
it's
I
too
don't think-
early.
Even if it's Tutty, if I just imagine Tutty in there right now, I don't see him winning that game.
The
right.
next game, the next week, it's not a bye. Arkansas State win.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Then they host USC.
Win.
I think they win too. I don't think they cover. This line is out at 9.5.
9.5?
That is
No
a,
way.
Doesn't
I-
USC
I'm
has like
taking
Mac
USC
Miller at
plus
quarterback or
9.5.
something?
What can Lincoln Riley do? He can score.
Yeah,
Right?
not
Even
against
against a
this
good
defense.
defense, Michigan still can't score. I think Michigan wins this game, but I think this game's a whole lot closer than 9.5 points.
Oh man, I just hate Michigan. Yeah,
They stay at home. If you're tracking this, they are not leaving their home yet, and it is.
they did
it
this
is
last year too.
September 28th, and they have not left their facility. They host Minnesota. It's a win.
To win, I guess.
So what? That's 4-3-1.
4-1.
4-1.
4-1. Yep.
Yep. Here's an interesting one. Their first time they leave, they go to the Huskies of Washington. This line is out. Another fishy line. Michigan 8.5, which they think again 3 points for the road team. So they think neutral field. This is an 11.5 point game.
I think they're gonna beat them. You know, I'm not high on Washington, man. I'm not high on Michigan either. Take the under in this one.
I think they win, but I think Michigan cover, or I think Washington covers.
I have Washington.
I've got a win here for Michigan. I've got 3 conference wins already.
Then they go on the road to Illinois, which we talked as 2.5 total wins.
Okay.
Then they're back home against Michigan State, which is already a 22-point spread.
Win.
You know these games are tricky, dude. When they play each other, dude, it's tricky. It doesn't matter how bad Michigan State is.
If Michigan State had anyone on offense, but they
That's
don't.
true.
This game could be 9-0.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they're rolling, dude. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 conference wins, and they're 7-1.
Yep.
6-2. Okay.
Then they host Oregon.
Loss.
Yes. Again, kind of similar to Texas. Oregon scoring points. Doesn't matter the defense. Too much talent. They're scoring points. Yeah, that's a loss. Then they go on the road to Indiana.
As much as I want to take this as a loss, I can't, man. It's got to be a win.
Yeah.
The history is what it is. And if you guys didn't know, I'll just say it now. It's 62-10, Michigan, in the history of the series. I mean, it's the chances of IU pulling this off, and again, the pieces are gonna have to fall into place, but I don't see it right now.
Then they host Northwestern, win.
Yep.
And then they go on the road to Ohio State.
Loss.
So if you have what I have at 9-3, and then they are
Over
7-2.
Yep. So
I think they drop one of these games. I can't tell you which one.
Northwestern.
I can't tell you which one. But one of USC, Washington, or Indiana Northwest, one of those four,
two.
they're losing. Yeah. One of those 4 games they will lose because of their offense. An injury to the quarterback, an injury to Donovan Edwards. Something is going to happen. I have them as 9-3, but I think they are 8-4 and 6-3 in conference.
Let me give you a hypothetical.
I couldn't tell you who that loss is going to be, but I can tell you they are going to be an upset team.
I picked Washington only because it's their first road game. Like you said, it's late September before they leave the state of Michigan.
It's October 5th.
Oh, it's my birthday. Yeah.
I'm down on Washington, though. I'm down on this team, but I'm down
I am too, but
just real down on Washington. Brandon, hypothetical. 9-3, they go through the schedule how we have it. Their losses, I wrote these down. Their losses are
playoffs.
Texas, Oregon, and at Ohio State. That's a playoff team.
Yes, it is.
They're not deserving of a playoff team, but they're a playoff.
That's why they're only plus 130. They're plus 130 to make the playoff.
Yeah. 8-4, they're out. 9-3, they're in.
I think
9-3, they're in.
8th or 9th best odds according to DraftKings to make the playoff.
I just think that at 8-4, you're losing a bad game. No offense to IU or Northwestern
Washington,
nothing.
USC.
You're losing a team you can't lose to make the playoff unless it's a 1 loss.
And if they go 9-3, make the conference championship, because they'll only have 2 losses at that point, so there's still an outside shot at making a conference championship. They lose the conference championship, go to 9-4, they still make the playoffs.
It is 12 teams.
Yeah.
I think it's Oregon, Ohio State in the playoff.
Me too.
I think they both have 1 loss, so 2-loss Michigan would miss it.
Yep.
But maybe that benefits them not going to the playoff and adding another loss. Maybe them not going and getting blown out by Oregon and Ohio State again gets them in. That's November problems.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you right now, they get upset by someone this year.
That's what I was going to say. If not 2 of them, Brandon, if not USC. I mean, USC isn't that big of an upset.
No.
So if USC goes in there and wins, they're still, they're not going to lose to USC and Minnesota, but Minnesota maybe. They might lose to Washington, we don't have on there as a loss. They might lose to IU. They might lose to Northwestern. I don't know. We don't know. Northwestern, a lot of people are picking Northwestern. I've seen some crazy,
they're not good enough.
Northwestern's a big one.
They're not good enough to go 5 for 5 in those 5 games.
No.
I don't know who. If you take them all individually, they should win every game individually. But when you put them together, they're not good enough to go 5 for 5.
I think you got to pick one. I think you have to pick Washington or USC. I think they lose one of those 2 games.
Lincoln Riley can score points. His teams can't stop a soul, but that's not going to be an issue against Michigan.
I think you just got to pick one of those. I think one of those 2 they drop. As much as I want it to be one of the IU or Northwestern games, I can't right now in August, early August, say that either one of those teams can do that, but I think it's one of those, Washington or USC. All right, is that it? That's it. All right. Well, before we get to Randos and Sack, let's talk to selling your house. Let's talk about that. This episode's brought to you by your go-to expert in the Indiana real estate market. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in a home right here in the heart of the Hoosier country, Garrett Lawton with True Blood Real Estate is the agent you need. He's not just a real estate agent. He's a Hoosier fan just like Seth. Garrett knows Indiana inside and out, from Bloomington to Indianapolis and everywhere in between. Plus, his personalized service makes the buying and selling process smooth and stress-free. So, if you're ready to move, give Garrett a call or text him. I don't know if he answers phone calls. I've called him a bit, but he's kind of hit or miss. Text him. You never know when he's going to be awake. Could be awake at 6 o'clock in the morning, maybe sleeping in nooner. I don't know. 317-410-8851. He'll get back to you. Or visit his website at Lawton, Lawton realty.com. Rando, you have been yawning more than a normal Wednesday podcast. So this Tuesday is worn you out. Let's get through your randos, and then Seth will drop his sack on everybody, and then we can get you out of here. What do you have in your randos today?
Yeah, so not much. It's actually pretty slim pickings here. But the one that I wanted to talk with is just kind of a overall strategy. In college football, specifically the Big Ten, would you rather have an elite defense and a bad offense, or an elite offense and a bad defense?
That's tough, man.
In the Big Ten, I think you can get away with a bad offense.
Yep.
But in modern day
too.
college football, like if you're playing the Texases of the world, if you're playing Alabama, if you're playing Georgia, you're going to need, even Florida State recently, you're going to have to score points.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'd rather go elite offense over
Think about it this way, Brandon.
over elite defense.
When we, and I'm going to say the forbidden name, but when we had Kevin Wilson, and that, I mean, you can call it whatever you want. I mean, those teams were not great outside of 2015 and 2016. Dude, those were elite Big Ten offenses. Those were major Big Ten offenses with NFL talent across the board. Offensive line, it was talented, NFL style. You had Tevin Coleman, you had Nate Sudfeld, you had Cody Latimer, you had touchdown Teddy Bolzer, you had Shane Wynn. I mean, you had some major talent. Look at some of those games. Those were the best games we gave to Michigan over the last 10 years, really. Those were the best games we gave to Ohio State. Those were the best games we gave to Penn State. Like, we beat Penn State in that run. We took Ohio State down to the very last play with Xander Diamant at quarterback. We took Michigan to 2 or 3 overtimes with one of those offenses. Like, you're right. I think an elite offense can overcome, that can put up 40 points if it needs to, can kind of carry a kind of trash defense sometimes.
Completely agree.
I
think that answer sums up why all three of us think of Michigan this year the way we think of Michigan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of these teams, Michigan State, Northwestern.
Unfortunately, Iowa.
I think everybody's going to think about Iowa like that until Ferentz is out. But, yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Next question. And I talked about a little bit about the wide receiver. But look at the quarterbacks that are coming into the Big Ten. I mean, we talked about the overrated guy from Oregon State. We talked about Mike Wright. We talked about all the new guys Minnesota seems to come in every year. Do you guys find it as odd as I do that Michigan didn't go grab anyone?
They love this dude. They love Orgy, and they've Tuttle has made them fall in love with him because he hasn't got hurt yet. So I think they think that they're set at quarterback, and then they started to get into what they're into now, and nothing has come of it. So I'm with you. Didn't Minnesota's quarterback go within the Big Ten?
I think to Rutgers. I think he's the likely starter now. I think him and Wimsatt.
Wombat.
Yeah. I think I could be wrong.
No, I think that's right. It's Gavin Wombat versus Karafulinkas, or whatever his name is.
Kali Manakis?
It's close enough.
Mantis?
He makes a hell of a pita dip.
Oh my God.
What's that? What are you doing? He's Greek, right?
I don't know. Yeah, probably.
What was I looking for? Hummus, not a pita dip. Is Brandon frozen? Brandon's
Maybe.
frozen.
Yeah.
Are his randos over? His randos might be over. Brandon's gone.
All right. Let's go to the sack.
Okay.
All right. So I think everything in my sack, you guys at least teased a little bit at some point. Oh, that's a bad connective tissue there.
Again, connective tissue.
One of the things we talked about was lack of wide receiver depth. As we look at that, one of the players that I thought may have been playing wide receiver, at least he was in high school at Northwood, was Josiah Edmond. He was a two-way player on a really good Northwood team. And he was recruited, I thought, to potentially start at wide receiver with their kind of bare cupboard there. But he's actually listed now as a cornerback. So he might be on a developmental process there. They also, you talked about Kenneth Grant being the other, that D tackle from Maryville. So those are the two Indiana-based players. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about, you teased, was I had Sharon Moore as one of the finalists for the IU job. And I don't think you were super into it at the time. And of course, we didn't know. I mean, we knew, but we didn't know that Jim Harbaugh was going to leave because everybody could see the writing on the wall there. But nobody, I think, really expected Sharon Moore to be the Michigan head coach. But I'm sure you would have, Bragg, who is incessantly positive and optimistic, talked yourself into, if IU had hired Sharon Moore, I guess, what would be would you be a little bit more like, I don't know, would you be more positive about him? I just want to know what that process would be of you convincing yourself that Sharon Moore would be like the perfect IU hire if that had been the route that they had gone.
I'm not anti Sharon Moore.
Okay.
Like, I'm not, I guess. I mean, look at the offenses he's had in the last few years, right? I mean, pretty elite offenses, again, with elite talent, though. I think he would have brought some of the talent from Michigan with him.
Is that the biggest lure you think he had? Like,
I think
is
so.
He bringing Orgy with him? Is he bringing Tuttle back? Like,
try bringing Orgy. I doubt he gets Edwards out of there, but like Orgy and maybe a couple other, second string players from there. He's going to bring his scheme in, so you're going to know you're going to immediately have, what I would assume to be a pretty good, probably top half of the Big Ten offense. Other than that, I don't know. I mean, with Coach Sig, you've got proven track record. With Moore, you have nothing. You don't know.
You have that one game against Bowling Green.
Yeah.
Which didn't they like carry him off on their shoulders or something? Or everyone cried, or I can't remember what it was. It was some big to do. All right. Well, that's all I had in my sack. I wanted to hear you talk yourself into thinking Sharon Moore would have been a great IU hire.
I wouldn't have hated it, and yes, I would have talked myself into it, him being like the Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah, of course.
I don't think Brandon's coming back. He said he was going to try to come back, but I don't see him back yet. So we'll wrap it up. I'm sure he'll be disappointed, and maybe he'll carry over some of his randos next week. Be sure to check out the pod on Twitter and on Instagram. It's at Happy Hour IUFB. I apologize for not dropping a Twitter alert last week about the podcast coming out. I just saw it today as I logged on that it was still sitting ready for me to hit the send button for a scheduled release at 5:30 in the morning, and I didn't hit that. So, but the podcast dropped. That was the important part, and hopefully you guys don't rely on Elon Musk and his social media platform of bots to tell you when our podcast is coming up. So I will be sure to do that tonight and make sure that I hit the send button or schedule button fully this time, so that way you guys know. Again, to be sure to rate and review on our platforms, and go ahead and follow the show. It's not that hard. That way, at least whenever you pull up your Apple Podcast, we're right there. As soon as the show drops, it's going to pop in right there, and you might even get a notification. It's really not hard either. Just find us, press it on there. It's going to be at the very top right-hand corner. Press the follow button. Doesn't cost you any money. Do that. Give us a rating. 5 stars. You guys have been great with the ratings. We really appreciate it. Until then, we will, we'll talk to you guys next week, and it's another tough one. It's Ohio State. Until then, cheers.
Cheers. Back to school.
Yay, tomorrow.